We know that Voltaoe was the world champion ever since Beyblade Burst God ended. Now, at the end of Beyblade Burst God, you would assume that, well, he has a God Bay just like everyone else, and he's already more powerful than bladers like Kurt and Silas with their bays Satum and Kalzar. The thing is, he upgrades to a Turbo Bay. Now, Turbo Bays in themselves, compared to God Bays, are extremely more powerful, like insanely more powerful. Volts from upgrading to God to a Turbo Bay literally blew up the roof of a house when he first launched his bay. That's the extent to which how much more powerful they are. Now, Volts battled against Kurt and Silas when he had a Turbo Bay. Against Kurt, Kurt got a point off him, then Volts got a point off him, and in this clip I'm about to show, or I have already showed, Volts bursts Kurt pretty easily with a Wonder Whip, although he does get destabilized by Kurt early on in the battle. He later battles against Silas, in which Silas is able to get a lead on him. Silas is able to take 2 points from Volts, and Volt is able to take 1 point from Silas. And then Volt later on counters Satum with a rush of attacks, where he finally bursts him. The thing is, there's a difference between these two. See, Silas already had 2 points off of Volt, and in their battle, near the end, it was a lot harder, clearly, to struggle against Satum and actually burst it than it was with Kurt. Kurt took about maybe 2 seconds of contact, bursted. Satum actually caused the recoil in the stadium that they always show, where two bladers are clashing. Another thing is that Silas was able to counter Volt's moves. Volt came in with a rush launch, he used a roller defense. Volt came in with a flash launch, he was able to use roller drift, right? So Satum had counters to Valtryek's moves. You could argue that, oh, it's a defense type, but in that case, well, why wouldn't a stamina type always lose to an attack type? It's just not how it works in the actual Beyblade world. So what I'm trying to say here is that Silas, with a God Bay, was able to go 2 to 3 score against Volts pretty narrowly. And so really what this shows is Silas and Kurt specifically's ability to adapt. See, Silas was shown to lose to Volts even without using the Strike God chip in God, right? Like Volts battled against Silas in practice and burst him pretty easily with a reboot strike or a strike whip. Now, Volts upgrades to this even further to the level of, again I say, blowing up houses with the first launch of Turbo Bays. Silas is able to grow so much just by watching other bladers around him, and he's able to come up with so much different strategies with his bay and how his bay with the wheels moves around that he's very, very powerful. Silas is like, he can adapt to almost any situation and almost any blader. He has the ability to beat free. He has the ability to beat Volts, as shown. He counters Volts, and I made a video in the past about how he could have beaten free. He still can. His bay and his mindset have the ability to, like, have some type of advantage against any other bay. And Kurt, with sheer power, is just able to keep up with bays that are much higher above him. Clearly, winning Valkyrie is extremely powerful, and Kurt still was able to keep up to that with an extent. Of course, I am saying that Silas is more powerful than Kurt, and in this case, he adapted to Volt, likely because he's battled Volt before, and also because the rage of him losing to Free so many times in the past has him trying to win against Volt even more. But that's what drives Silas. Silas is second best character in Beyblade Burst. It's not even just my opinion, it's a fact. If you don't agree, you're just plain wrong. Silas is a very powerful blader. His character is amazing. They should have written him better. They should have included him more. And, yeah. And Kurt's also very adaptable, very powerful, even against bays much higher than him. That's basically the point of this video. And I think that's what they were trying to show in the beginning. Volt, as the world champion, still has to go up against competition, even if that competition has a complete disadvantage. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to keep on blading.